Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Thriving in Chaos. With me, as always, is Stella Renee, my favorite co host.
Hi, everybody. How's
Can
it
you
going?
believe we are on episode 5 already?
I know this has been the first, I'm sorry, the most fun 5 hours of my life. Six if
Well,
you
it's
count
going
the
to be,
conversations.
this is true. And today is going to be an even better hour of your life. Because in studio with us, we have our lovely guest, Larry Eissler. Hey, buddy, how you
Hello.
doing?
Hi, Larry.
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
I
Good.
am wonderful.
Just wait. I'll ruin it. We'll get there. Don't worry.
Challenge
Yeah.
accepted.
I'm prepared. I'm ready to go.
Great. Why don't you tell the folks at home a little about yourself?
Sure. I am a filmmaker primarily. I really try to do as much as I can through filmmaking. So whenever I go to a location, if I have a camera on hand, I'm going to try to film something. Even if it's only going to reels, that's okay. So, and then lo and behold, sometimes that location brings me back, and I have all this random footage that I could use for archive footage. So it works out really well.
That's awesome.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm also an author. I have 2 books and 1 ebook currently out, and then
I'm totally buying them
um,
all.
you should. They're very good. The first one is called Ghost of the Black Hawk War. It is half history, half paranormal for the Black Hawk War of 1832. Just the Illinois side. We're still working on the Wisconsin side. And after almost 200 years, you come to find out these guys have a lot to say. So we put it all in a book, and we're continuing to investigate so we can add to the book down the line. The other book is an anthology of short stories where a lot of them are told from the ghost perspective. So it's like the
Ooh,
other side of a haunting. A lot of people think that one's pretty neat.
it
That is
sounds
really
like
neat.
it.
Yeah. And then the newest one is going to be a paranormal guidebook. For paranormal beginners, starting from I know nothing to I know a little bit, but I can add to my tool belt.
Sounds right up my
So
alley.
that one should be out in the summer. I,
Is it-
it's being published through Mike Ricksecker, and he said I should have it by Gettysburg. So it's July. Yeah, July.
What are you doing in Gettysburg?
I am doing the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash as one of
Oh,
the
very
guests.
cool. Very
Ooh.
Um,
cool.
my attendance schedule this year is just it's
I
full. It's
Every time I
very
look up
full.
something paranormal, your name is listed, like any conventions and stuff that are,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, we're gonna talk to him. That's awesome.
I'm all over the place.
Well, actually, I'm very close to Gettysburg, so I might actually end up there. So we'll
Oh,
see.
cool.
Maybe we'll get to meet.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I don't know where I'm at yet. Last year I was in the hallway, which is a really good spot, even though nobody believes me. They're like, "But you weren't in the main room with everybody." I know.
Yeah, but you gotta walk through the hallway to get to the main room.
You
Everybody's
have
gonna
to
see you.
go past me.
Right.
And the hallway was quieter, so I could actually have a conversation with people, which was nice. And because I was in the hallway, I was 10 steps away from my room.
Oh,
So
nice.
anytime I had to use the restroom, I went to my room. Every time I needed to get something out of my fridge, I just went to my room.
That's
Everything was
awesome.
cold. So, yeah, I lucked out last year. So this year everyone's in the main room, so we'll see where I'm at, but yeah, I think it's going to be another good con this year.
Yeah, that
So,
sounds
and
Sounds
awesome.
then
like we gotta go.
you should.
Well,
It's a
I'm
really
super
good
close
time.
to Gettysburg. I spent a lot of my childhood in Gettysburg, so I might actually end up there. Who knows?
When is it?
It is, I believe, July 18, 19. Whatever that Friday, Saturday, Sunday is.
We might have to
18,
check that
19,
out.
20, 17,
Yeah, for
18,
sure.
19.
I'll have to
I'm
look at the
surprised you
date
haven't
right now.
gone. No, it
So
is 25, 26, 27. Yeah, so the weekend after
Okay.
that.
I
25,
can
26,
totally,
27.
I can totally make that. Um,
So could I.
I personally haven't gone because we just started the show, so like I'm just now getting into like paranormal stuff. Like I watch a lot of like the shows and the things like that, but
Mhm.
I've never really gotten involved. And
Oh,
when Rebel and I joined forces, uh now I'm like, oh, I should go to these conventions and stuff just to see stuff.
And now
So
we
they
are getting invitations out the ass to be at them.
sure they could be very
We've got
educational.
like 3 already.
There are a lot of really great presentations and workshops and panels and all sorts of stuff. Um, I know for, I want to say 3 or 4 of mine this year. I think 3 or 4. I'm doing a workshop on filmmaking,
Oh, cool.
teaching the paranormal about how to make film so they can upgrade their YouTube productions into something a little more film-esque.
Yeah.
And those have always been received really well. I give presentations on our most haunted locations from the show.
Mhm.
Everyone loves that one.
Of
I
course.
can
Um,
see why.
yeah, I gave that one in a presentation 2 weeks ago, and I filled the room, and there was at least 150 people, I think. It's hard
Wow.
to count.
Not bad.
So like everyone was like, "Yeah, I want to watch that." I gave a presentation on AI and the paranormal, on how social media is really dangerous for the paranormal. Social media is really bad for us, stuff like that. And yeah, you know, a lot of conferences have different things, but there's a lot to learn.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I like too. And actually, you touched on the subject that I was actually really interested in asking you about.
Mm,
Just the impacts of social media and the popularity it brings to the paranormal community, simply because, with social media, television being so huge,
yeah,
and the, I guess, infiltration of all of the paranormal shows that you can find. And some of them, they're not all real. Um,
right, right.
just to get your take on that and what your thoughts are in regards to that. Obviously,
And
So
don't give us all of the little bits, but
for sure,
I've actually found a
um,
lot of the paranormal groups to be cutthroat on social media these days because it's all competition now.
it is, it is. Well, and I guess it's always kind of has been, um, ever since Ghost Hunters. When people realize like, holy cow, like I can actually be on TV too.
Mhm.
People started coming out of the woodwork where that was their sole goal. Like I want nothing but to be on TV. And it's
Right.
not, I want to create a show to be on TV. It's I want to star in a show so that I can go to
Mhm.
these conferences and charge $10,000 to show up.
Right.
And they're only
That's
in it for the
Yeah.
money.
right.
So those people tend to not last very long.
Yeah.
Because they don't get the recommendations that you really need to get in order to make it onto big TV,
Right.
because most people think you're a jerk.
Yeah.
So,
Well, obviously.
yeah. So, but at the same time, though, yes, paranormal TV kind of brought a lot of crap, I guess, paranormal.
Yeah.
It also brought new life.
Yeah.
You paranormal TV to thank for the newest generation
That's
of ghost,
true.
and even my generation. I think I first watched Ghost Hunters in 2006, maybe 7. And that's when I was like, "Oh, dang! I want to do that. I could do that." And then, lo and behold, in 2009, I started doing it.
That's
So
awesome.
even people my age were like first seeing it on TV and said, "Oh, that looks cool."
Yeah.
And then, lo and behold, TV and real life are way different.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
exactly. I feel like they I don't wanna say fake a lot of stuff, but I feel like you stretch the truth on television just for show so that, like, it's interesting enough. And while some of
Yeah,
that is understandable, like, I just feel like it's overdone at this point. You were
sure.
speaking generationally, we actually just discovered all 3 of us are right around the same generation.
Oh, okay.
Um, so it's the same thing, I think, for me, is it's like, I didn't even know it was something you could do, really. I mean, like, obviously, like, you could go and see haunted places or see if
Right.
places are haunted, but, like, there's no way to actually check, and then seeing all of this kind of come to light in television, it was really cool to, like, watch,
Yeah, I
that
agree.
unfold.
I agree.
So, yeah.
Um,
It's just very easy to fake everything. Like
that's the
Yeah.
Photoshop
thing.
can
Yeah,
Photoshop and
yeah.
AI makes everything possible now.
Well,
Yeah.
and really, movie magic has made things super easy to fake for forever.
Right.
That's why these shows
Yeah.
do so well. Is because like they have the financial backing of a major network, so they can be on site for 5 days and
Right.
record for 5 days straight. But the end result makes it look like they were there for only one night.
Right.
No, they were there for 5 days. It's just they have 5 of the same T-shirt.
Right, right. Or they just wear
So
the same one and stink the whole time. Who cares?
right, or they keep a hoodie on, so they don't have to worry about the T-shirt underneath.
Right.
So, and then with 5 days of footage, you have a lot to pick from.
Right.
You can highlight only the good stuff because out of 5 days, you're gonna have a ton of it.
Right.
So, and yeah, it is a little deceptive, I guess you could say. But at the same time, like if it's not entertaining TV, nobody watches it, and the show gets canceled.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
they
like a catch
embellish a lot.
22.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
wouldn't say a lot, but they probably embellish enough
Yeah.
Well, I
because
mean,
it's
we all
normally the
know that not
producer that does it.
every single location is haunted.
Oh
So,
no, no, no! Every
but
location's haunted. Everything's haunted. Everything is haunted.
Everything's haunted all the time.
Yep. And it's not necessarily the spirit that's there haunting it. It could be the spirit that's haunting you,
Oh, that's a good point too,
and you
actually.
just don't realize it because they don't interact with you. They don't mess with things. They don't appear out of the corner of your eye. They're just there at all times. Whereas if you reach out to them, they might talk to you. And I found that 9 times out of 10, it's usually a relative or some ancestor you never met that's just popping in, like, "Hey, what are you doing, Rebel? Why are you talking to that guy with the beard in the void? That guy's kind of weird." And they're just there. Um, does that mean where you're at is haunted or you're haunted? No, but there's spirits everywhere. And their willingness to talk to you says more about you than it does about them. If that makes sense.
That actually does make a lot of sense.
So,
Hey, Rebel, what are your thoughts on that piece? As somebody
I
who,
mean,
so Rebel's got talent. So Rebel, what are your thoughts on that piece?
mhm.
I mean,
She wasn't ready.
I I agree and I don't. I
It's
mean,
okay.
I've
We
heard
don't have to
different
all
theories
agree.
too.
That's
Well,
that's
no, I
okay.
mean,
That's
I
the best thing
agree
about the
that
paranormal.
I I don't I agree in the extent that I believe everywhere is haunted. Like there's a entire spiritual world around us. There's no avoiding that.
Sure,
I've seen videos of cars making turns in the middle of a highway and running into absolutely nothing and totaling their car.
sure, sure.
But at the same time, I also agree that not every location is haunted, that sometimes it could just be the person that's going to that location that's haunted.
Yeah, or it could be a
But
ghost just passing by who's like, "What are
yeah,
these guys doing? Oh,
but
maybe
Yeah.
check that out."
I've also heard theories of people just believing that now I don't necessarily entirely believe this theory, but I've heard people say that they believe that the spirits that we catch on, you know, different equipment
Mhm.
could just be parallel universes.
So my old partner Dan, who retired last year from the paranormal, that was his thought. He thought that we're not recording spirits, we're recording each other. It's just from a different multiverse.
Right.
Hmm.
It's the
And I'm like,
multiverse theory.
and I'm like, listen, why does it have to be two different theories? Why can't it be the same?
That's
When
true
we
too.
pass on, we have all this chemical, electrical energy in our body. It has to go somewhere. It can't just disappear. So what happens if you and I pass away on a table, and that energy is now released to where we don't have this big fleshy anchor holding us down anymore, and now we can transcend into that next dimension with the spiritual body. Facebook's going
Yeah.
off. So, that was always what I came back with him, like, hey, listen, we don't have to have two different theories. It can be the same. It's just depending how you look at it. And that's really
Right.
the great thing about the paranormal. I'm gonna mute that, otherwise it's gonna go off all day.
No
Um,
worries.
about the paranormal because we can have a different theory, and we can both be correct, and we can both be wrong, and nobody knows.
Well, that's true too. Yeah.
Right. There's really no way to honestly test any of the theories until we get to
For the,
the other side.
for the most part, no. I mean, really, we're all just stabbing at the dark,
Literally.
for literally for multiple avenues.
Yeah.
But
But
then I
that's kind
wonder
of
if
cool though
that
too.
kind of feeds off of the idea of reincarnation too.
So with that, I imagine so. If you lean a little bit more towards my theory, where um, the next dimension is where our spirit goes because we can transcend there now. Um, there are cases where people have come back where they knew things there was no way they're supposed to be able to know because they're a
Right.
whole different person now. Well, how do you explain that? There has to be a way to go the opposite direction. So,
Right.
okay, we're gonna
Yeah.
put you
Yeah.
back into the matrix now. You're gonna get your fleshy body. It's gonna come out of the womb tube, and then you're alive again. So,
I love
there
that you
has to
call it a
be
womb
something.
tube.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah, I've never
imagine
heard that.
the egg pod in the Matrix, but I'm like, how do I describe this? The womb tube.
Yeah.
The egg pod.
So
We went from
the egg pod.
womb tomb to egg pod.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's virtually the same thing when you think about it.
pretty much,
Yeah.
pretty much. It's just
Amniotic fluid, you know.
a gooey sack with a hose going to you.
Yeah.
Now you
Exactly.
guys just sound like we rolled off the set of Aliens, okay?
I
I
mean,
mean,
that still kind of fits the topic of conversation, though.
exactly.
I mean, we're thriving in chaos, so we incorporate all the chaotic elements of the world, and it's nice to have different discussions about different topics.
Let's just
Yeah.
keep rolling with it.
Well, and I love the fact that, like, you know, if you keep an open mind, nobody's really ever wrong, I think, about any of this stuff. It's just, it's
Yeah.
perspective and everything is kind of situational. So I love that. So
Yeah,
we can all
Exactly.
just like chat about it.
there are things where you can be clearly wrong.
Well, yeah, but
You know, the most common one that people all are vehemently against is the method of angering spirits to get a reaction out of them.
oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't
There
agree with that
No, I
either.
don't
there
either.
are seldom people that will admit to that publicly, that they're okay with antagonizing the spirits.
Mm.
You know, across
Which
the
is,
board, everyone's like, no, don't do that.
no. Which just
Yeah, I
seems
actually
like, why
mentioned
would
that
you want
last
to
week.
do that?
So it's almost guaranteed interaction,
Yeah, but
and
still,
it can
Not
be
the good
scary
kind, though.
interaction, and it can be enticing to watch.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, it definitely could be
I
entertaining.
actually I mentioned that last week about how Ghost Adventures started off like that, where they spent their first 45 minutes yelling at the ghost to come out and play, and then the
They're
Yeah.
all
next
mad.
15 running away screaming because
Do
they
that
did.
crap to me. Do that crap to me.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I
Yeah.
just got scratched. I got smacked. Oh, I can't handle
Yeah.
this feeling.
Well, now it's possess me. Possess me. Guys, I'm possessed by a demon. Okay. All right, buddy. Calm down.
I'm
It's your
acting out of
75th time being
character.
possessed. Right. Right. I'm normally not this broody. So,
Mm,
yeah.
that's funny.
Unfortunately, TV, and in this case Ghost Adventures, really led to the overuse of antagonizing spirits because it got a reaction.
Right.
People saw it and said, "Oh, I can do that. I can go to a cemetery and I can bust headstones to get spirits to talk to me."
Oh, you shouldn't do that
Yikes.
anyways.
Yikes.
Speaking of
Oh,
which, while we're on the subject of certain ghost adventurers, Stella, you may not have heard about this, but Larry, you probably, I'd venture to say you have. Have you
Hmm.
heard of the Demon House documentary?
Oh yeah. So
What are your
everyone
thoughts on that and the murder that happened because of it?
everyone gives Zach Baggins a lot of flack, right? I'm not holding back, right? You know, I will say this. He I believe graduated as a film student. He does really good work. You know, there isn't a person alive that will look at something that he produces and goes, "Well, that's crap." No.
right.
The Demon House is a great documentary. The amount of work that gets put into it is phenomenal. According to the story that I've heard, including people that were involved behind the scenes, and one of the fathers involved in the scenes, it's all true. Like
Hmm.
it's all like a real thing. And at the end of the day, like that's kind of scary
Yeah.
that you know, like this house really did exist.
That was the one that one movie that just came out with Monique Parker in it. What was it? I can't even remember the name of it, but it just came out. And she was a social worker that witnessed the kids that
I
were
don't think
being
I've seen that
possessed.
one.
I've heard of it. I've not
I
seen it though.
cannot. It's got Monique Parker in it. She played the social worker, but if I'm remembering correctly, that was the family that the demon house that actually lived in that house. And Zach bought that house, and then he investigated it or whatever, and one of his people on his crew, one of his close friends, got
Yeah.
possessed or whatever and ended up murdering his wife because of that house. So
Oh wow.
Zach ended up tearing it down at the end of that documentary, and
Yes,
that was the last of it. Like, it's
Oh my
gone
gosh.
completely.
it
And I
is
think
100% gone.
he like consecrated the land it was built on and had it blessed by like a million preachers.
Yeah. I know there are people that are upset about that because now we can't verify anything. We can't verify that the encounters and everything that
Yeah.
happened there. We can't walk in there and be like, oh yeah, this is true. The spirits confirmed it, or I had the same encounter. We can't do that.
Yeah, but
So
when people's lives are in the middle of it, it's probably for the best not to know.
yes, agreed. Um, but there is that skeptical debunking side of the paranormal that doesn't care. They're
Yeah, I
they're
mean,
out
look at
to debunk
Annabelle.
everything.
Look at Annabelle. Tony's part of the story of Annabelle is that she's actually killed before too, and
Right, right.
um
Well, and here you have Tony Spera carrying Annabelle around the country in a suitcase using oven mitts.
I'm
That's
actually
that's his
going to see him
protection.
in April.
Oven mitts. Oven
I'm
mitts in a
going to one of his
suitcase.
events.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually met Annabelle. I mean, I never actually like met Annabelle, but
Mhm.
I went to an event about 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
they had her.
She's out of her case. She's on the prowl. She's moving about. Which if you look at all the pictures of Annabelle, there's that glass case. It says, "Do not open the door." But she's on a world tour.
Yeah,
So
they have a special carrying case that they keep her in that's locked up. That's almost an exact replica of the one she sits in the museum.
right, right.
Hmm.
But I
So
think the event that I'm going to in April is going to have the Annabelle doll, the Shadow doll,
mhm.
um, a satanic skull, the Conjuring mirror, and something else. I think it's like a
Yeah,
satanic idol or something.
I know Robert the Doll gets around a lot too.
Isn't
Yeah.
he in a museum in like California or something?
I want to say
I
Florida.
thought it was in Key West. Isn't he in Key West?
Yeah, I think
Is
it's
he
Florida.
Florida? Okay.
I think
Yeah,
he's Key
No,
West.
Zach's museum is in
Vegas.
California.
Vegas.
Oh, is
No,
it Vegas?
no,
Mhm.
it's Vegas. Yeah. Um,
Oh, I'm
every time
thinking of
I've
the
tried,
Museum of
e-
Death. That's it.
every time I've tried to go to Zach's museum, the tickets are already sold out, and I'm like, ah,
Every
come on.
time.
I just want to look. I want to be there. I
One of
want my
these days I'll
Right?
selfie.
do it.
Just done.
Yeah. One of these days I'll get to back to Vegas and I'll be able to actually go.
Yeah.
Uh Rebel
I want to
mentioned
go to
the
Vegas so bad.
Vegas is
It's
there's so much going on all the time that it's like
it's a
very
lot.
overwhelming. I've been
It is very
twice.
overwhelming.
I don't really want to go back for Vegas itself, but I really want to go to that museum and then just to see other things too. So we'll see.
Yeah. The last time I
I'll
was in
go.
Vegas, I went and saw Jabberwockies. I went and saw
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
the medieval times thing they have there. I can't remember what it's called.
Excalibur.
Excalibur. Like that was interesting.
Yeah. I've seen that.
Um,
Yeah.
I think the Blue Man Crew has a show in Vegas too, don't they?
yep.
Yeah.
Blue Man has a
Yeah.
show. There's a lot of really cool stuff to see.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool
So
free stuff to see too. So like the
there
fountains are cool. TI used to have a show outside that was cool. I don't know if they still do. I mean we're talking I think 2011 was the last time 2012 was the last time I was there.
mhm,
So it's been a while. The first time I think it was
sure.
like 2004 I think I went.
I think my
Um
last time was 20. I wasn't in college yet, so it was 2018.
oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So it's
I've
been a
never
bit.
been, so screw you guys.
Well, you're not missing out on a whole lot.
Unless
It's
you're a gambler, it's not super
yeah,
exciting.
or a major drinker because you could walk around drunk
True.
and drinking
True.
all day, all night.
Okay, I can't drink, so I have to gamble. Thank you.
Well,
I would rather shop because,
sure,
you know.
and
I'll
that's
take
expensive
that
too.
too.
It's really
Yeah.
expensive
I like
there.
to
It
shop.
is.
There's got to be a Temu store out in Vegas somewhere.
Larry's face. No. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm,
No.
mm. Everything costs twice as much just because it's
Oh,
Vegas.
it's insane. Yeah. But yeah, no, I would love to do the Haunted Museum. Rebel mentioned the Museum of Death in California. There's one in New Orleans too. I went to the one in New Orleans.
I did
Yeah,
too. I've been
Yeah.
to the one in
I
New
haven't
Orleans.
made New Orleans yet. That and
Oh,
Salem are on my list of places I need to go to, and someone has to start an event there and invite me.
we'll put it
Well,
out there.
let me
I
be the first to
always
warn you,
like
buddy.
invite me.
Let me be the first to warn you
Mm,
because of the hurricanes that hit Nolans.
yeah.
The entire state smells like a hot fart the entire
I
time you're
Oh
there.
I
yeah.
was just there.
Yeah.
It did not stink. Thank you very
Well,
much.
to be fair, there's also a lot of swamp down there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of swamp gas and decaying matter that doesn't tend to smell okay.
Right.
Um,
Well, because the
and I'm from
cemeteries
the
are all
mid.
above ground. So.
They're all above ground, and
Mhm.
there are a lot of bad stories of bodies floating down the water because it flooded, and yeah. And
Mhm.
when you're from the Midwest like me, everything smells like farms. So if it smells worse than farms, you know it's pretty bad. Like
I get
here,
it.
you drive down the highway and you're like, oh, farm. That's what that was. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's where
So
I am. So I'm right outside of Baltimore. If you could drive right into Baltimore City, it has a very distinct Baltimore smell. The airport smells the same way, so much so that my
It's
kid, when
also
she was a
got the shit
toddler,
factory right there.
well,
yeah,
but it smells like Baltimore. So you walk outside and it's very industrial smelling. So
right,
we
right.
actually arrived back on a plane one time, and my daughter, she was maybe like 4 at the time.
Mm.
And she walks outside, and we had just done something in Baltimore. It was like rarely that I take them there. And she walks outside at the airport and she goes, "It smells like Baltimore." I was like, "Yeah, it does."
Don't let
'Cause
her
it's
fool
very
you,
industrial.
okay? She loves the fresh smell of factories in the morning.
I love it.
Would you like
It's
a
the
little
best.
smog? Would you like a side of
Mm.
smog with your
Sm-
morning dew?
Smells
smells
like
like home.
pollution and lung cancer.
Mm.
Pretty much.
Smells
Although
like nostalgia.
if
Yeah,
you ever want to
exactly.
be that parent, you could do what I did and just drive by the factories that puff up all the smoke and
Oh,
tell the kids that's where clouds are made.
oh, that's funny. I mean, kinda, you're not wrong.
I did that
Uh,
to one of my nieces.
I will say, just on the side note of smells, the paper mill in Pennsylvania was one of the nastiest things I had ever smelled in my life.
Oh yeah,
Oh, so
yeah.
Oh,
bad.
I can
We
imagine.
have a couple things like that here, and it's just like, whoa, what
Well,
is that?
yeah.
It's like it's a smell that you can't describe very easily. You're just like, just what is that?
Yeah, like, why does it smell so bad, everybody?
Yeah, like paper smells like this.
Yeah,
What?
Yeah. Yeah, but when you get it, it smells like
I,
nothing.
Well,
I
I
guess
I
it
love
depends on
how
the
we
paper.
went from
Sorry.
shitty ghost hunters to shitty conversations.
Sorry.
and
It's
and
what I do.
and shitty smells.
No need.
It's my
Hey
ADHD brain. I
man,
can't let it
shit is
go.
thriving in
Okay,
chaos too. It's just doing a shitty job of it.
sure. Well, if you look at it this way, everyone's seen like the typical questions of a podcast, like when did you get first started in ghosts? What was your most scary encounter? Like we're talking about paper mills and how bad they smell. This is a unique podcast.
That's what we're going
This
for.
is
Like
prime time right here.
step up to this
Prime time
level.
perspectives.
Well, the goal is also to to humanize the people that are doing like various things, whether it's people in movies, authors, people in the paranormal community, because just to show like we're real people doing real things, just because it involves the paranormal world doesn't mean that we're not a regular person.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Because I think that's really important to notice too.
yeah,
Well, that's another thing that like he said, we're talking about paper mills and how awful they smell. So it's kind of nice to be able to have multiple people from the same field come on the show and none of them talk about the exact same things.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, how
Absolutely.
boring it would be if like we asked the same like 6 questions every single time.
Who are
Yeah.
you? What are you doing here? What did you
Right.
learn? Where did you haunt? I mean,
hmm
Yeah.
And you have to do some of those, just to be
Yeah.
like, well, who is this guy? I don't know who this guy is. Oh, he's a filmmaker. Cool. Oh, he's talking about how bad filmmaking can be on the paranormal community, or how good it can be. This is interesting. Let's dive into that.
Yeah.
So
speaking of
Yeah, of
films,
course.
I watched one of your films on Paraflix about one of the conventions you did.
Days of the Dead.
Yes, that's it.
That is the newest one that came out about a month ago, right now, give or take a month.
I literally
Um,
texted him as I was watching it. I was like, dude, I'm watching you on TV right now.
I make a brief appearance in that doc. So like I had a booth at the conference, and because I was filming, I needed a big booth. The only way to make it look convincing is to get depth. So like your background has to be blurry and your foreground has to be in focus. Well, the only way to do that is to have a large space. I was very fortunate to get every bit of a 12 by 15 space to film in, whereas the normal booth is like a 6 by 6.
Oh wow.
So I I
Yeah,
got
they're
I got
little.
very lucky. So you see me standing outside my space in my vest and my tie and all my fancy look, just kind of like menacingly staring at the camera operator because he and I were joking around and he's just kind of like he's standing there looking tough and he's like doing his camera movements and I'm just like not knowing that it was gonna actually be a really good shot and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna use that one. So I make an appearance in my own documentary.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But it was a really, really cool project to do because the focus on that one was not the celebrities, because, yeah, I can try to interview some celebrities, but I'm not going to get all of them. And then you're not going to get the full story of what the event is. Some of these celebrities also don't care. They're just there to get a buck and to go home.
Right.
But there is
Yeah.
someone there that cares a lot about the celebrities, about the event, and about the community. And that's the people that go there. So our focus from the beginning was let's interview people walking down the hallway, just grab them and be like, what was the most impactful, amazing thing that happened to you this weekend? And that particular one, the whole cast of Terrifier was there. So I have like a ton of responses about Terrifier. And I'm like, okay, guys, I can't make this about Terrifier. Let's mix it up a little bit here. But I was able to squeeze a few in. And it ended up being really, really cool. I really enjoyed the whole thing.
That is really cool.
Speaking of celebrities, have you ever met one that actually hated their fans? Like, I see all these like celebrities
Mm,
on some interviews, and they absolutely hate their fans. Like, they don't want to sign autographs, they don't want to be touched, they don't want to take pictures, and I'm like, I know you're famous, but like we made you famous. Like without
yeah,
us,
Fair.
you wouldn't be where you are. You should be a little more appreciative of us.
right. Um, I have met celebrities, like a real celebrity that has that rumor about them that they act that way. In the paranormal, not really. Um, the paranormal really we're our own little like puddle in the ocean. We think our celebrities are like who Dave Schrader, Chip Coffey, Chris Fleming, like those are our A-level celebrities. In the grand scheme of things, those celebrities are C-list at best.
Mm-hmm.
They're mostly recognizable for a TV skit, or a TV stint on a show, but that's it. Like small group people that actually know who these people are, as opposed to like your Jennifer Lawrences
Right.
or your Tom Hardy. Like if Tom Hardy walks into a bar, everyone is going, "Holy crap, that's Tom Hardy."
Right.
If Dave Schrader walks into a bar, most people won't know who Dave Schrader is because they don't watch paranormal.
Right.
Right.
And I've walked into bars with Dave Schrader, and he's always like, "Okay, who's gonna know me here?" Because he's trying to avoid that. He's just trying to relax and hang out with people, and it's like no one's coming over. Cool, we're good. We'll take the seat in the back.
Yeah. That's
So,
like I've had a couple times from where I've been on TV, like every now and then somebody around here will recognize me from one of the shows I've been on and they're like, "Are you so and so?" Nope.
sure,
Nope,
sure,
never heard of them. Must have a doppelganger.
right. I get recognized every once in a while, from Paraflix mostly, for Expedition Entity, where I do make more than a 1 second appearance. um, and then for the longest time, I actually started doing this video editing thing on a gaming channel on YouTube,
Ooh.
and I got recognized for that quite a bit too. That
Hmm.
was weird. because the channel was like half Rust, which is like one of the most toxic games out there right now, and then half drunk streams. So it's always a 50-50 what I'm going to be known for.
Probably the funny drunk screams streams.
Quite a bit. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
It's the only time in my life, or I'm the only person that I know of that can say that I was a professional drunk. I got paid to be a drunk.
I don't know. I think Stone Cold Steve Austin might have you on that one.
True. True. Although normally it was only like 1 or 2 beers. So,
No, a championship match, and he'd drink a whole case by himself.
true. Well, that is true. That is true too. Yeah, he'd definitely be up there as well. He'd be up there.
Oh yeah.
But I was doing like a bottle of Southern Comfort for a stream.
Cool.
And then
Ooh.
we'd be like, hey, so if you want me to take extra shots, donate $5 and I'll take a shot. Or if I was with somebody else on stream, it'd be, hey, donate $5 and put their name in it, and they get the shot.
So what you're saying
Oh.
is you played the never-ending drinking game, and
For the most part,
everything is a drinking game at that point.
everything is a drink. Yeah. So we played League of Legends, and every death we had to take our own shots.
Oh my goodness.
But if somebody donated a shot, we had to go back to the fountain and take the shot, and then go back out to fight. So there were times where someone would donate, and then you're going back to the fountain, and then you get 3 more donations, and it's like I have to take 4 shots.
Uh,
Oh my god, I took 4 shots and then I died. I have to take a 5th shot now.
oh my
So
gosh.
those were not long streams.
I can't imagine so.
They were very short.
He was probably drunk 5 minutes in.
Oh my gosh.
Usually the first game went really well because you only die like 2 or 3 times, and then the second game you die 5 or 6 times, and then the third game you die 10 times, and then it's all downhill. It's all downhill.
It's just a snowball effect.
Yeah,
And then at one point, he just respawns to die again.
just keep dying over and over and over, and you're
Somebody
just like,
just comes
please
over and kills him in the same spot.
stop killing me. I can't take any more shots.
I'm already drunk.
Right.
So sick right now. Oh, that's
so
funny.
so yeah, so I left all that behind and switched over to actual film, and now I do this, and my
I mean,
liver is very happy for it.
I was gonna say that's probably good for your body at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to say I
Yeah.
don't drink,
His
but
body's probably happy.
That's the funny thing. Like you would expect that after all that drinking, like I would just be the biggest lush ever, and I don't really drink anymore either.
I think
I'm
it's
done.
that has more
I
to do with
can't.
you as a human than it does, I think, like your habits personally.
Yeah, I
There is
can't
such a thing
drink,
as the
so-
addictive personality, so
True. I don't really have that except when it
I don't
comes to
either.
sugar. I cannot stop myself on sugar.
I have
as
my
mentioned
vices.
earlier, mine is shopping.
Shopping, soda, sugar, smoke.
Work
So
is my other one.
So it sounds
Work-
like Rebel has the addictive personality then.
A little bit.
No,
okay.
I can stop anytime I want. I just don't
Well,
want to. And I
Famous
happen to
last
think
words.
that you know what? Winners never quit and quitters never win. Okay? How about
Sure,
that?
sure.
How about
We won't-
them apples?
We won't judge you harshly. We'll just judge you lightly.
Just a
I
little
quit
bit.
drinking. I quit smoking cigarettes. I will have my sugar and my smoke.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if anything, I'm addicted to shopping, and then like it's just spending money in general, like tattoos. I'm addicted to those too. So
Sure.
I got
That's about it.
three vices, and they all start with S: sugar, shopping, and smoke.
that's
In the
not what I thought
grand
you were
scheme
gonna
of
say.
things,
We'll
it's
call
not too
it silly
bad.
smoke.
What'd you say, Larry?
In the grand scheme of things, it's not too bad.
Nah.
The shopping maybe, but the other two not too bad.
I shop with my husband's card. It's okay.
Okay, so that's a bad one. That's a bad one.
It's all okay. In my defense, it's usually household appliances that I shop.
That's really
Okay,
bad. That's
I just
really,
got
really bad.
I just got an entirely new kitchen. I got new pots, new pans, utensils.
This is not the proper shopping addiction people should have.
I got a new knife
Yeah.
set. I got a meat tenderizer.
I mean,
got a
if
meat
you need it,
shredder.
it's one thing. But I have a feeling you didn't need all that.
I sure did. I'm the cook of the house. So I did
Wanted.
need all that.
Wanted.
I needed it.
Therapy time. But could you shred without the shredder?
Right.
I've
Yes.
tried. I've tried, it did not work, and it made me sick, so no. You guys have to remember, I have issues that prevent me from doing a lot of activities. I
I was
can't
gonna argue
stand
with
a
you, but I'm
lot.
like, I know. Fair enough.
Maybe if I could set it up in my living room in my chair and I could do it all, then probably I could. But I
There's nothing
originally had
stopping you.
I had the bear claw things
Oh,
to do
yeah.
the meat
Yeah.
pulling. It did
Yeah.
not work very well. The chicken ended up on the floor with the dog because it got stuck and then it flung, and
I'm sure the dog was
that
happy.
was the end of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dog was happy, but
The
we were
dog was
not.
like, "I love these things. These things are great.
Do
You
that
should cut more
again.
chicken like this."
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
most
easy
of
to
it ended
chew.
up on the floor.
Yeah.
Rebel is just now learning how to be a girl, okay? I'm just now learning how to cook, thank you.
Rebel's a rebel.
I don't know how to girl.
Well,
So
they call me Rebel
luck.
for a reason, you know.
Yeah. It's okay. I don't know how to girl either. So
well, apparently we could take lessons from Rebel. So
yeah,
Hey,
I'm writing stuff
well-behaved
down as we
people
speak.
seldom make history. Remember that.
well, you got to watch
That's
our
true.
episode with Stacy because we talk about crock pots. Look.
Paranormal crockpot potion recipes.
There
I
you
think we
go.
decided we were going
decide-
to do a paranormal potluck.
Yeah, we're gonna do
Okay.
a Paracon, and instead of like a convention, we're just gonna have everybody from the paranormal community bring crock pots full of food.
Whatever they want.
I'm really glad you corrected yourself there because that would have been a whole different sentence. We're gonna have everyone from the paranormal community bring pot.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine too if you can put it in the crock pot.
That's well. I'm sure you can make crock pot brownies.
You probably can, actually, now that you
Probably.
say that.
You
I
probably, if you
have,
could do it in the air
actually.
fryer, you could do it in a crock pot.
I
Oh.
have. Thank you.
Oh, see?
Yep.
I got
Yep.
you. Hit me up.
We're
I
all
got
getting
you, man.
we're all getting blitzed.
I'm
Right.
telling you, I got a guy for everything. Let me tell you. what you need, hit me up. I got you, man. It's the hood rat in me. I know how to network.
Oh my gosh. Something for nothing. All across the board.
That's right.
I'm the queen of it.
That's funny. Anyways, that was way off topic.
Little
Yeah,
bit.
I don't even remember what the original topic was now.
Oh, I have no idea. We
No, I
are
have no
so
idea.
far into left field now. We're out of the other field.
So actually,
Okay.
back to paranormal stuff. I actually do have a question because I know that you're in the Midwest and we are on the East Coast, mostly. What is?
I'm in
Go ahead.
the Midwest. Yeah.
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 So I'm on the East Coast. Rebels from the East Coast.
Okay.
So
East
Midwest wise,
Coast.
what was the? I mean, I guess you're in West Virginia. I don't really count that as the coast, but it's fine. You kind of
more east than me.
there.
I am still
Fair.
in the Eastern Standard Time Zone. That makes me East Coast, ma'am. Just because
Sure.
I'm landlocked doesn't mean I'm not East Coast.
Does that mean
Coast.
Indiana's East Coast too?
Coast implies water on one side. Just saying.
I do have water on one side. The Canal River's right there.
That's not what I meant.
I mean, technically,
said
I've got
water.
Lake Michigan, and that's almost an ocean.
Oh,
I
that is
mean,
almost an ocean. I've been there.
I even got waterfront property. I got a creek in my front yard.
I have a
Yeah.
creek behind my house.
Yeah, Lake Michigan is
So
big
your
enough to
creek,
have waves.
your
What'd you say
water
there?
back property.
Lake Michigan is big enough to have waves.
Yeah.
It's pretty much an ocean.
So when I saw it, it was frozen. It was
Okay.
in 2008. 2008. My brother was at boot camp, and
Navy
it
boot
was.
camp in
Oh yeah.
Gurney.
Yep. And it was frozen, like frozen.
Oh
It was
yeah,
a snowstorm, and we walked out. We were like, "Oh, Lake Michigan is ice."
which really it's
Very
only
cool.
like the first, a couple hundred feet, and then
Yeah.
after that, it's not frozen because there's water movement
Yeah.
and waves and all that stuff. So it's just by the shore where it tends to freeze up.
Yeah, we were at Navy Pier, and it was like frozen, like right outside, which is
Yeah.
interesting to me.
Every once in a while, that little ice shelf will break off and then just drift off into the nothingness of the lake. It'll just disappear, and you're like, "Oh, well, that was cool."
But I think people don't realize how big it actually is because it's called a lake.
Right. That's actually
Apologize.
really, really big.
It's huge.
So
That's what she said.
I did say that.
she did say that.
She did say that. But anyway,
Be
so
glad
like,
she said that.
yeah, she could have said worse things. Um,
She has said worse
she has
things.
said worse things. Oh, she was not always nice. Um, the, um, oh, I lost my question. Hold on.
It's
Oh,
okay.
so Midwest wise, like, what is the most interesting place that you've ever investigated in the Midwest?
So that's tough. Um, the Sheboygan Asylum in Wisconsin was pretty interesting. Massive building, an asylum. So very interesting spirits there. Um, the Jericho Haunted Trinity is 3 buildings on one property. So it's a 4-room, 2-story school, a convent, a nuns convent, and then a Catholic church, all in one property.
Oh wow.
That was really interesting because the spirits have their own building, so they're very much like contained in their own little vibe. So in the church, you have more of the priests and stuff. In the convent, you have a lot of the nuns and stuff, and in the school, you have like a mix of the both because they were both there.
Hmm.
And so that's a pretty interesting place. Broadhead Manor in Broadhead, Wisconsin, which is we won our Telly Award for that episode. It's a 60,000 square foot abandoned middle school, and you have the run of pretty much the entire building. And there's 3 floors, and every floor has different spirits on it. They all have different personas. Different rooms have different spirits in that room. Like there's a principal's office the principal likes to hang out in, and he's a jerk. He's a he's a cantankerous old man.
Well, he's a middle
Um,
school principal. What can you say?
in the early 1900s, so that was his
Yeah.
domain. There's a janitor that hangs out in the maintenance area. He can be a jerk. Um, and there's just a lot of teachers and kids and all sorts of spirits there. So that place is actually really wild, and it'll take you a good long while to really get your head wrapped around it, simply because there's so much going on.
Hmm.
So it's hard to pick just one spot,
I mean, that's fair.
And then there's Tinker Swiss Cottage in Rockford, Illinois, which that was on Jack Osborne's show for an episode 2 years ago, I think it was. Now the producer at Jack Osborne's show completely like changed history to make the show terrifying. So um, we're not going to look at Night of Terror as a true documentary show because it's not. They fabricate a lot. But the story of the Tinkers is actually really interesting because Robert Tinker and his entire family of like 7 people all still haunt the house that they lived in. It is still their house. They all live there now. So at any given time, you can interact with any of his family members out and about doing stuff in the house like they still live there.
Hmm. That's
So
really cool.
that's a wild place to where people choose to live in this house in the afterlife.
I love that. That's
Hmm.
actually really cool.
It's
Yeah,
like it's like the murder house from American Horror Story.
Yeah. Yeah.
kinda,
Yeah.
kinda. Except nobody
Actually,
was murdered.
speaking
So
of creepy buildings, has anybody besides me ever realized that the places that should be the most inviting are usually the creepiest, i.e., churches, abandoned schools?
Yeah.
Like, has anybody besides me ever noticed that schools look more like prisons and prisons look more like they could be schools?
well, I mean, architecturally, they're basically the same thing.
Yeah. Just a big box.
Yeah.
You got little boxes for one person or big boxes for 30 persons.
Yep.
Cafeteria, hallways, security systems, guards for both.
Yeah, we all live our lives in boxes
Pretty
I
much.
mean,
everywhere
we
you
kind of
go.
do. Yeah.
Pretty much.
No wonder
You
we
know,
die in them too.
pretty much.
Yeah. Just donate my body to science. I don't care. Don't put me
I
in a
want to
box.
be cremated and then shot out of a cannon.
That would be amazing.
I just want my body donated to whatever's left of science by then, because ain't nobody going to be alive to bury me at that point.
Just,
How
I don't
long
care.
do you intend to live?
Forever.
Well, I don't have much family left. Both my parents are already deceased, and all I have left is my one aunt and grandmother, and they're in their 80s almost.
Mhm.
So, yeah, they're all I got left. Like, I can't have kids, and I don't have any siblings that are really anywhere near me. So by the time I die, everybody is already going to be dead.
It'll be her
So,
husband and I.
So it sounds
Pretty
like
much.
you're getting shot out of a cannon too.
Well, if
If there's
everybody else is
anybody
getting
left to
shot out
scare
of a
me.
cannon,
Come on, it's the popular thing to do. Peer pressure.
Okay. Oh, okay. So we're all just going to get matching cannon tattoos for when we die.
I mean, if
I'd say-
everybody's doing it,
I'd say get on the boat, but it's not really a boat. So get in the cannon. Da-na-na-na-na-da-da. Boom.
Okay, fine. I guess we'll just all make a blood pack right here, right now. Okay, we'll do the
can you see my hand?
we'll do the cannon thing.
That's funny. No, I'm like, it's my body. I don't need it when I die. Just do whatever you want with it. I don't care.
It's
I
not.
mean, maybe
a-
not do whatever
make
you
it
want with
again.
it. But
Don't say that.
don't do whatever you want with it. But
I
They
was going
make
to say,
films
think of
about that
Haunting
kind of
in
stuff.
Connecticut on
they
that
do make
one.
films about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They
Awkward.
have made it. Think of Haunting in Connecticut. That's exactly what they did in that movie and why that place was so haunted.
It's not an
Well,
Next
I was-
invitation.
Nancy.
I was thinking more like, never mind.
Yeah, I know what you were thinking. Don't do that either.
Don't do that either. Don't
Don't do that either. Don't do that either. Awkward.
Awkward.
That's what they did. I'm
Awkward.
pretty sure we're talking about the same thing.
We probably are.
Probably.
Well, with the way your mind works, Miss Dick Store worker,
Hey, whatever. I gotta
her
go there
entire
today.
life revolves around penis.
Oh.
I work
I
in
say
an
that
adult
because
store.
I'm jealous.
I'm not a whore. I work in an adult store.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No,
Clear
she
that up
doesn't
right now.
She doesn't get paid for that kind of sex. She
No.
just sells sex to other people.
That has nothing to do with me.
Right.
I hope.
She
You
doesn't
get
participate.
all the credit. All the credit.
Yeah, I'll take the credit just without the work.
She doesn't participate. She just directs.
Oh. She doesn't do that either. Let's, again, be clear. She doesn't do that either. It's not this kind of show, Rebel.
It's not this kind of film.
I feel like I need to get paid for this show right now.
I
Yeah,
mean,
me too.
instead of thriving
too.
in chaos, you could be thriving in cocks. It's okay.
And now you have to mark this one as adult.
You do. You definitely do.
Actually, I don't. All I have to do is say it's not made for kids.
Yeah.
I don't have to make it 18 and over.
Just make sure you put that in the description.
hmm
Don't let your
50 minutes.
kiddos.
Rebel says bad word at 53:29.
No. Rebel said multiple bad words between
True.
53:29 and 53:50.
Rebel made
True.
insinuations.
Lots of insinuations, yes.
Awkward. Oh man.
I mean, you were thinking it. I just had the guts to say it.
Yeah, about that Gettysburg. I don't think I'm gonna be sick that day. Where it's been real. Just kidding.
Real embarrassed to go meet you in person now, so I'm not going to go.
So that's fine.
We'll pass on that.
Just stay at my family's house and just pretend I was there.
I'll live vicariously through Larry's social media posts.
Yeah, I'll be like, I was there. I'll just like paste myself in photos.
I saw the live streams. I saw the photo reel. Like, yeah, I was there enough.
Which
I'm already living vicariously through Stella, so it's okay.
that's fair. She is kind of. So there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are the
Anyways.
life I get to live now.
Am I? That's
are.
sad. I mean, I'm sad, but that's sad.
Did you ever know that you're my hero?
I did know that. Why wouldn't I be?
You're everything I wish I could be.
That's weird. It's very weird. Anyway, sorry, Larry. You guys, poor Larry's just an innocent bystander at this point in our ridiculousness.
I'm just minding my business. Like,
This is fine.
This is
Everything is
controversial
fine.
entertainment at its finest. Thank you.
it is. It is.
He's
Anyway.
entertained.
I hope so. He's gonna be like, "Don't ever call me. We're not coming back here."
Hoping
got
the next
weird.
time you call me, I'll be a little more awake.
It's all good. Well, you're holding your own very well, because let me just tell you, she is ridiculous on like
I-
steroids.
I spent about 10 years in the Army, so I'm used to operating with no
Ah.
sleep.
There you go. I just have kids, so
I
get
was
it.
the dispatcher of
So-
a
Same thing.
school bus company. I didn't sleep for the better part of a decade. So, yeah, there's
Mm.
that.
hmm
Yeah. Yeah, I just yeah. Anyways,
So, what was your favorite location to investigate? Do you have
Mm,
any? Do you have any cool upcoming investigations you're going to be doing?
I have too many. I have
What's
too many.
You can send some our way. It's okay. We'll take care of it for you.
So there are numerous 3-day stints where it's a different location every day. Um, so like one of them is Ashmore Estates in Illinois, and then the next day I drive to Rhodes Hotel in Indiana, and then the next day I drive back to Illinois for Pine Lawn Manor. While I'm in Gettysburg, I have like 2 or 3 locations to investigate. So it's like 2 before the conference and then 1 after the conference on the way home. Which I cannot remember those. I have a friend of mine, Jenny Davis, books all these investigations, and she's like, "Hey, do you want to go?" Yeah. How much is it? $30.
Sounds
Done.
familiar.
Let's do
yeah?
it. So I think she has me going to like 8 this year so far.
That's awesome though. There's some really cool ones in Gettysburg
I'm
too.
dragging her to like
Yeah.
3.
I know there's a Jenny Wade House, which seems to be gaining popularity, which is awesome.
There's a
Um,
lodge that I'm going to.
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't. I've never been, but I think I know
I
what
just
you're
can't
talking
remember the name,
Yeah.
but it's haunted. So like, okay, let's do it.
That's the important thing. We
That's
don't
the
need to
important.
know where it is or what it is, as long as it's haunted.
It is definitely haunted. So yeah. And then there's a lot of places they've got feelers out for just to be like, hey, can I come to your place? And then once I get in good there, it'll be like, hey, can you sign this release so I can film here?
Right?
We'll just see how it goes.
That's the
Yeah.
But
next post I'm making. People for haunted location owners.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've
That's
had a
really cool.
couple reach out to me.
Yeah. I think this year has been the most active for me for places reaching out and being like, hey, I saw the video you did for Jericho. I'd love to have you come and check it out where I'm at. Like, oh, okay. Where are you at? Kansas. Ooh,
That's kind of far.
that's a 10-hour drive. Or,
Hmm.
hey, would you like to go to Nevada to the Washoe Club? Yeah, I'd love to,
Right.
but I don't want to drive.
But it's in Nevada.
So we're
Right?
gonna see. So, but yeah, luckily a lot of the stuff around me that have been reaching out to me, it's like, oh, it's a 5-hour drive. Oh, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can make that work.
What's the farthest you've had to drive for a location?
Mm,
Do you typically like to stay local or do you try to travel as much as possible?
both.
Both.
Local's the easiest because I don't have to get a hotel room, so I end up saving myself a ton of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this year, I think the furthest I'll be going is probably Gettysburg. Last year too was Gettysburg. I'm going to a
That's so
conference
close
in
for us.
Maine. So
Ooh, I
Maine,
really want to go to Maine.
if there's an investigation in Maine, that'll be my furthest one. I did the Crescent in Arkansas, so that's only about 9.5 hours. So Gettysburg's a little further away. So yeah, I'd have to say Gettysburg's my furthest.
Wow. That's cool.
And it's so close to us. It's
It's
a
I know.
like
hop, skip, and a jump for us, but it's
it's like
probably
11
across the pond
hours.
for him.
It's 11 hours for me to drive it.
It's less than
That's
2.
about how far it is from me to where Tony's event is in April. About 11
It's
hours one way.
it's a bit of a jaunt.
Yeah.
It's a drive.
Yeah.
So
That's a whole day.
yeah. You have to leave at a
Yeah.
decent time to get there at a decent time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this year, I don't know if they're doing an investigation in Maine. If they do, that'll now be my furthest, because Maine for me is a 22-hour drive, and I will be flying.
Is there a place in Maine that you would like to investigate specifically?
No clue.
Oh.
I'm showing up to the conference, and then whatever happens, happens.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So
I actually have a friend that lives right down the street from Stephen King in Maine.
nice.
Oh, that's cool.
nice.
He's actually going to be
really
on our show
Who?
in April.
Oh,
James.
I was like, wait a minute, who? I was thinking
Stephen
Stephen
King's gonna
King.
be
I
on the
was like,
show?
what?
Wow.
I mean, that's cool, but
No, my friend is going to be on our show, obviously. I don't know Stephen King. I wish I did. I'm good, but I
Yeah.
ain't that damn good. At least not yet.
One.
Although, if he happens to see this, we'd love to have you on our show, please.
You can talk about being an adult store worker
Yeah,
and
that'll be cool. Not awkward at all talking to Stephen King.
a
And
lot
he
of other
could
things
write
that were
a
brought
horror
up.
movie about it.
Wait. How do you spell that?
What?
Horror. Which one?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Which
I'm not
one?
the one writing the book, so I couldn't tell you.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's funny.
It would be
Hilarious.
Night of the Killer Cox.
Just another thing for the ratings right there.
Just
101.33. Rebel.
checking the boxes.
C word.
Checking the boxes. Yeah, it's fine.
That damn rebel.
We're gonna
What
add
are
the
we gonna
bleep
do with her?
there. Just get the bleep button ready. Just be like, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't think I'm quick enough.
That's what he said.
Oh,
Awkward.
I'm sorry, y'all threw me that one right down the middle. I couldn't just watch it pass by.
Awkward.
Got to walk through the doors.
Well, on that note, is there anything you want to leave the viewers with in closing, Larry?
I think we've already left them with a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the best way to find me is going to be on Facebook. You just kind of look for that name there, and it is a blue check mark. That's how you know it's me. My pinned post is a bunch of the graphics for the events I'm going to this year. The first one should be my schedule. Sometimes Facebook likes to move it around on me. And then on that schedule, you can see everywhere that I'm going. So if you're going to an event, come stop by, say hi, get a selfie. We'll talk for a little bit. Come see my presentations, whatever they are, because they're almost always different. And yeah, pretty much it, I think.
Yeah. Awesome. We really appreciate you taking your time to be here with us today.
Oh, thank you for
Even
having me.
though I made you guys blush quite a few times.
That's fine.
Oh, that's rosacea. I'm not blushing.
Oh, I'm blushing.
It's a new record. It's cool. Well, it's about time you got a little bit of color in your cheeks, Stella.
Hey, whoa. Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. It's my lighting. I'm not this pale. I'm this pale.
Yes, you are. You're Irish.
Wah, wah.
Of course you're pale.
Yeah, I'm all of the UK things. So I'm all of those.
So you're
Yeah.
you're missing skin color, basically.
Yeah. I'm like 0.1% African, but that's not enough to matter. Clearly, because I'm this color. It's great. Anyways, I'm afraid of the sun.
Yeah. Well,
That's going to be the clip we get. I'm afraid of the sun.
I'm afraid of the
My
sun.
husband is too. He claims he's a vampire. That's, he
Mm.
sleeps all day and we stay up all night, usually. And he has to wear sunglasses even when it's raining.
I do too.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I do too.
Oh,
But like, it could be dark outside and sometimes he still wears sunglasses.
I get it.
I get it too.
He's secretly Nosferatu.
Yeah.
But I like to call him Nose for Mike too.
Anyways,
Stella, do you want to tell the people where they can find us before we're out?
yeah, obviously here on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram. We are Thriving in Chaos Show. You can find us on TikTok. We are also Thriving in Chaos Show, I believe, there as well. We are on Facebook. I myself am on Facebook and TikTok individually, but there are also connections to the show. And if you just
As
look
am
at the
I.
next, if you just look at the next 2 slides, you'll see our contact information. Our Gmail is, what is it? thrivingin chaos show@gmail.com.
Nope, it
Right.
is Thriving in Chaos TV at gmail.com.
Obviously, I don't email myself. So there you go. There's that.
So we need the audience to email us, like, subscribe, and comment. By all means, tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly, even though we already know what it's all going to say and be.
And share. We don't know. We're not
So
that good.
the good, the bad.
I'm psychic.
Oh, that makes me the ugly.
That makes me the good. I'm
Aw.
fine with that. It's fine.
Why I gotta be the bad? It's because I'm rebel, isn't it?
Because you said the C word twice.
Yeah.
And
That's
if
why.
they didn't want it to be said, they
So?
shouldn't have invented it. It's a word.
They are all just
And
words. I tell my
technically-
children. They're just
And
words.
technically, all I did was talk about male chickens.
Those are called roosters. Rebel.
I mean,
They're also called cocks.
and
And there it
And
is
on
again.
that note,
1
we're
minute,
out.
1 hour, 6 minutes.